Hi, folks. Yeah, like Sam said, I'm going to attempt to deepen the question. And before I begin, let me go ahead and say one thing more about who I actually am, because it matters. This is a movement that needs the broadest possible coalition around this understanding that we are facing a fascist regime, that this is an all hands on deck moment, and that we have to come together in a way that the regime cannot ignore. I am a mainstreamish Democrat. I was a Hillary volunteer in 2016. I remain more or less a mainstreamish Democrat. So when I say to you that, you know, we need to be coming together with all people of goodwill, you know, radicals, non-radicals, progressives, even principled conservatives who want to come on board, I welcome them to this movement. We really should understand. And if you think back to any of the World War II books you've ever read, the movies you've seen, we just now understand that the world needed to come together against Hitler, that it made sense for Churchill and Stalin and Roosevelt to form an alliance together to beat Hitler. We understand that now instinctively. We should not have trouble understanding this in reference to the Trump regime just because they have not fully consolidated their fascist rule yet. By now we have 3 years of evidence that that is what they are trying to do and what they're trying to consolidate. So I actually would like to flip some of the questions that I normally get on their head, 2 of them. And the first one I want to flip around on you guys is ask yourself, why is it okay to wait? You know, people challenge me and say, why do we have to get out in the streets now? Why don't we wait for the election? I want to come at you the other way. Why do you think it's okay to wait till November? On what do you base that? When we are watching, as Coco said, lots of moves from this regime to quash dissent, to dismantle the superstructure of our democracy out from under us so that nobody can retake power. And history teaches us that this is how fascism works. It is an ailment of failing democracies, and fascists use the democratic structure to get in a position of power and then use that power, as the Trump regime does, to hollow out civil government, hollow out the electoral process, and make it so that nobody can take power back through the normal process. That's why they're putting party hacks in charge of the census. That's why we saw what we saw in Georgia with the voter suppression, Kentucky, Georgia in 2018. We have seen them do this numerous times. So why do you think they're not going to do it again? Why do you think they would not pull out all the stops this time when it's on the line and their butts are going to jail if they don't stay in power? Seriously, do you think that they have moral qualms that they're gonna, you know, back off? I'm very seriously asking you to think about this. And if you actually think you have a reason why we should wait till November, I would like to hear it. Please give it to us in chat or anything else. This is the dialogue that we're trying to have. The other flip I'd like to do is, why not hit the streets? People, you know, ask me, especially, you know, fellow Democrats, why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do this velvet revolution thing like South Korea, like Egypt, like Tunisia, like Algeria, Puerto Rico? Why do you want to do this? And I'm saying, why not? Why do you not support this? Especially now in this moment when we are seeing so many people all across the spectrum supporting the righteous demand of the Black Lives Matter protesters who have been out in the streets, and their protests have moved the needle on a local and state level already visibly. And this has been very powerful. Few people have denied its power. Well, why not? Why can't we do that to get fascists out of power? Especially when those fascists are threatening everyone. We can't fix police while fascists are in power. We can't fix women's rights. We can't protect the right to choose while fascists are in power. We can't rebuild our broken electoral system, do something about the electoral college problem. We can't get rid of gerrymandering. We can't restore trans rights and LGBT rights that are being stripped away. We can't do any of this while fascists are in power. Fascists do not fix things, and they especially don't fix those things. This is what history teaches us. So and then the last thing I would like to do is put in my plea for what Sam and Coco have already said is of critical importance, which is we do need to spread the understanding that this is fascism. Because, you know, it's like the old proverb of the 7 guys in a dark room who each grab a part of an elephant. One grabs the tail and he thinks he's got a worm. One grabs an ear and he thinks he's got a bat. And if they would put together their perspectives, their diverse perspectives, they'd realize that they have an elephant. We're coming from very diverse perspectives, which is part of why we have trouble diagnosing the larger problem with the Trump regime. And asking me, does it matter that this is fascism, to me is like asking, does it matter if those guys figure out they've got an elephant? Of course it matters. If you figure out you've got an elephant, that doesn't tell you everything. All elephants are different. There's different species of elephants. They'll do different things under different circumstances. But once you know that it's an elephant, you know things about it. You know, you're more able to predict its moves. You're more able to do something about it if you need to, right? The increased understanding is crucial. Being able to name the problem and learn from history about it, which there's plenty of history and study on this, is crucial. So we really do have to struggle for this understanding. Not everybody in the street necessarily needs to be able to quote this chapter and verse, I think. But this is a unique threat to our generation, to, as far as I know, history in this country, really. This kind of modern fascist assault on our democracy. This is unique, and we need to recognize that, and we need to act in a manner that is commensurate. If we don't, we're going to be, assuming we survive it all, in the same position as the Germans after World War II, who nobody's going to care that they were good people. Nobody's going to care that they claimed they didn't see it coming. None of that is going to matter. What people are going to look at is the cost. I think we need to be out on the streets right now if we want to prevent that scale of a tragedy. So that's what I have for you on that point. Back over to you.